Did you have the full event where you like start the event and then everybody that subscribed or whatever get?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
I did.
David, Singapore Guild Lord. Hi, Jason. Jason, give us a good one. Come on, give us a. Actually, maybe it's not the right day for that today.
Okay, let's wait until we hit like 50, then we can start. Can't the Fed give like another speech? Would help.
I don't know. We had a speech and then it went up, and today it went down. Why did it go down today?
Exit pump, sir. Exit pump.
Well, they fooled me again. But what's new?
Nothing.
Dude,
At least
Nasdaq is down
USDT is
5%.
holding strong.
Nasdaq down 5% on the day. Like this is insane.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. We are hitting 50. Wonderful. On a day like today. So welcome everyone to the community call. It's a familiar sight, but the markets are red, right? Roses are blue, so the saying goes, I hope. So I hope everyone here is still holding strong though. And yeah, for Ohm, it's not different. I think there are a lot of questions also around things like backing, partnerships, and so on, which is why we have a star-studded a lineup here today for you. As always, if you have any questions, please ask it in the chat above. If you want to come on stage, put up your hand. If you want to sing, I'm not giving out any more Ohm. I paid the guy 1K to sing the Pokemon theme tune a while back, and that was like, yeah, my low point, I feel. But if you have any other suggestions, let me know. Maybe like some general updates. Chala, could you maybe give like a highlight of what has happened this week for the people here?
Sorry, in the DAO generally, is that a question or?
Yeah, just in general.
This week, wow. What about this week?
In
I
your
can
mind.
give a
Yeah.
update like generally. So like we're really like continuing to focus on like the core infrastructure projects. Across the DAO, building out like refactoring the code base, codename both of these, which is going to allow for a lot more of like flexible treasury management, like set the stage for on-chain governance, and like build out and help us like build out the range models. That's the core infra that's being developed. Development like really accelerated in the last month, and is going along well there. Hopefully complete at the end of next month, and then go into audit. And that's kind of like a prereq for a lot of the stuff we're building. The range model is actually like even closer to completion, like going through internal review and continuing to like think through the implications there, making tweaks, like continuing to spec out on-chain governance, and incur debt. So those are like the main projects, and like more generally, just like making sure that we're very focused on those projects, and not like losing sight and just getting out ahead of ourselves. So like really like the team is like really just like building, and obviously like we see price going down and it sucks and we feel everyone's pain in that, but like we're not going anywhere. We're continuing to build out exactly what we set out to do.
No, that's indeed a good update. So indeed on that front, you have to think of us as like a $300 million, $400 million funded VC funded project that basically has enough cash in hand to keep this going for a while. So definitely we are here.
Yeah. Like we're bootstrapped. Like like not even not even talking about the treasury. Like we have enough like revenues to like we have basically like runway to continue operating and building like for very, very long time.
Yeah.
The treasury report isn't out yet, but I got a sneak peek, and Rev was
Okay.
still 10 million on the month.
Okay, could you maybe give like a highlight reel or like some
Let's see, what do we got?
some attention points that were surprising to you?
Well, do we even want to go into Raleigh? I don't think so. Let's you guys want to talk about it.
Talking about 10 million.
So, you know, we rolled out OIP 94, which has changed a lot about kind of like the activity of the treasury, how we've seen it function. So following that, POL now makes up 18% of the overall treasury compared to the 33% it was in March, which is a big change. So that brings we're getting closer to an established POL to market cap target. We're still getting assets coming in from things like Klima, Sushi, Olympus Pro partners. Like, we're seeing like reduced bond activity, but I still think that people got to remember, we've built something that lasts here. Lots of runway, lots going on. I will have a ton. Jason and Balotelli and I are working on pushing. Yeah, what was surprising, Shreddy? We're gonna push that out really soon. I know it's a little bit after the month, but we'll have the whole report coming in.
Okay. Sounds good. Maybe on the front of policy, Shadow, you're not anymore the policy stratego, but you are still in the know, as they say. Could you update us a bit on like how did the rollout of the inverse bonds go? Do we see that they're getting sold out? Yes or no? Are there any changes in the near future on that front? And what is the effect of the protocol now doing these inverse bonds for people that, for example, still hold that OM, right? Could you go into that?
Wortel is the best moderator. Like he asks you like 6 questions all in a sequence, and then like you have to like struggle to like remember all of them. But I'll try.
I'll keep you
Yeah,
accountable.
no. I will try. So like inverse bonds, obviously price has gone down since we rolled out inverse bonds. Surprise. Like I don't think that's something that's not obvious on the charts. However, in terms of how the bonds rolled out, like perfectly, we obviously started with lower capacity because it's a new smart contract, a modified OP bond, but still, in terms of that, perfectly, they're behaving as expected. In terms of discounts, they're pretty efficient. They increased a bit on LUSD, but that was to be expected because LUSD, you need to have another swap in there, so that's another 0.3%. In terms of price action, like the goal of inverse bonds, I don't know whether everybody understands it or not. I've seen a lot of confusion, but like just to make it as clear as possible, like the goal of inverse bonds is to absorb sell pressure, to try to stabilize the price, and it is also profitable to buy back at these levels. Buying back at these levels means that like you can sell now, but everybody that stays in OHM will be better off, in terms of backing pure GEOM. So like, sure, like it doesn't matter. Like the treasury has the funds. You can dump now, and you will just improve the situation of everybody else that's staying in the protocol. At the moment, like price is going down, market is also kind of shitty, but it's also, I think, the market testing inverse bonds. And personally, I'm fine with staying in OHM and like just seeing, people dumping in spite of inverse bonds. That's totally fine. Like the treasury is on chain, you can track how much funds it has. So like, yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out for what I care. What else? in terms of the markets, like we just launched right now, in case people, yeah, I think we didn't even get to make that announcement because I hopped into the community call. We launched 2 new DAI inverse bonds, one with a capacity of 54K and one with a capacity of 203K. So that's meant to make both inverse bonds a bit more available to, I don't know, smaller people who want to, inverse bond, and also to make it available to people who have, larger funds, that so they don't have to do multiple inverse bonds and wait around, so they can just do it right away. In terms of like how inverse bonds function, I also want to say like there are like 2 people that can use inverse bonds. You can have the person who wants to dump home, and I mean that's totally fine. People can dump, take profit or whatever the fuck they want. So like there are 2 people, the ones that want to dump home, and for them it is basically profitable as soon as it's at 0% discount. You have 2 options. You can either go through the no slippage route on inverse bonds, or you can go through the like slippage route on the AMM that is right away 0.3%, right? And so for you, as somebody who just wants to exit home, you can just go to the inverse bond as soon as it hits 0%. You will not get front run either by bots or arbors or anything, just because it's not yet profitable for them. So that brings me to the other group, which is arbors. What they do is they buy home on the market, inverse bond, and then just claim that, delta there. And so they would have to do it at a larger discount because they have to pay the swap fees on the exchange as well. So yeah, those are the 2 groups that use inverse bonds. At the end, in terms of price action, it doesn't matter. The arbor will buy home inverse bond, and the price will be higher because of it. The dumper will not dump on the market. He will use inverse bonds, and so the price won't be lower because of it.
Yeah.
Was that
okay,
clear?
and I hope that and I hope that
Okay.
everyone heard Shadow saying that people could take profit here, as if anyone still has profit. That's a joke. So could you maybe go more into detail about how like people using inverse bonds is it beneficial for people that are still holding? Like how does that work exactly?
Yeah, I'll just jump in and say, well, the protocol is in profit if that happens, right? And so I'll leave it to Shadow to go into it, but somebody is in profit when people are dumping at these levels.
Can you repeat? I was typing.
Oh,
So
well,
so
yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, could you explain how it's beneficial for the protocol if people are using inverse bonds? Because some people might think, well, you are giving the stables away from the treasury, right? But how is it actually beneficial for the protocol if people are using inverse bonds?
Well, it's beneficial because you burn dome and you increase backing per geom by buying back below the backing, right? And so everybody that's left within the protocol and the protocol itself is better off because of it. It's also like everybody wants a bigger treasury. Like, I don't know, this is a personal opinion. Like, everybody wants a bigger treasury, but like in terms of like managing it, it's easier to do it with a small one. So if you have like a less amount of holders and a smaller treasury, but backing is higher, you can manage the treasury more efficiently, and those buyers are better off, and those holders are better off because the backing is higher. So like it's a win-win.
Yeah, I think we want to continue to grow the treasury for sure, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
it's about the size of the treasury relative to the rest of the market, right? And so,
Yeah.
like today, right, in the near term, like actually the protocol buying back and like all other holders who are not selling into these prices are benefiting the lower price like the protocol is able to buy back at, right, through inverse bonds. Obviously, like in the midterm and long term, we don't want price to continue to like remain down here. But we are very patient, right? And the protocol is happy to buy back at these levels, and it increases this like the treasury size continuously relative to the market. But long term, we want this market to be a lot bigger. We want to keep that ratio of the protocol size to the market for a while.
Okay, that makes sense. And what is the like a lot of numbers have been floating around on like the backing per ohm or geom. Is there some indication about what that is? So there's 4 people here seeing the price at 17. Are we definitely below that backing now?
That's a provocative question. It seems like that on the treasury dashboard, I don't think the liquid backing is entirely accurate. We are either pretty close to it or below it, but I can't guarantee anything until they check the calculation once more. We like fact checked the treasury dashboard, and by some calculation, it seems that liquid backing is actually higher than it is on there.
But yeah, liquid backing, okay, that's good for short term, right? But like the illiquid one or the just total backing of the protocol,
You can
we're
also use
definitely
floating backing without, we
yeah
haven't talked much about that, but like in terms of floating backing, if you discount the LPs entirely,
yeah.
the OM in the LP, which, you know, obviously wouldn't be redeemed, we're definitely below that.
Yeah,
But
just to like, I would say just reiterate for people, like the difference is like liquid backing is not the total value of all backing. It's like the backing that the protocol has available today to conduct like open market operations, right? Like the other metric that Shadow was talking about was like total value per floating ohm is like kind of like the real value of ohm, like if you were able to redeem, like if all the assets were available, right? And that number is like I think like significantly higher than we're trading at today. So like that's why the protocol buying back at these levels is like is profitable, right, and is accretive for all holders.
exactly, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you for translating Shadow there. Let's see if there are questions. Have I ever loved somebody so much it makes you cry? Have you ever needed something so bad you can't sleep at night? Have you ever tried to find the words but they don't come out right? Have you ever? The answer is yes. Any other questions?
For you, man.
Yeah.
I have a question
Yeah.
for Shadow in regards to inverse bonds. Have we considered taking in GOHM instead of just naked ohm at any point, and then getting rid of that, or is that not like?
Shadow, you take it.
Yeah, like we've considered it, but like it's just the difference is I think we'd have to unstake it then as
Right.
well, and
Yeah.
you know that's kind of the hurdle there.
The
You'd have to unstake all the time actually, you know, as they
Yeah,
arrive.
yeah. The flip side of that also is so it depends who you're targeting, right? If you're trying to absorb cells, right, which maybe like that is more optimal. It's better because the person selling wouldn't have to unstake, right? And there's like a slight gas cost like benefit there. But for other like for arbors, it makes it more difficult for them because there's an extra transaction cost. And so
Yeah.
it depends what you're trying to optimize for. But again, it's marginal. But I think like that's like the logic you'd have to walk through.
Okay, that's clear. I also see we have we had Indigo on stage. Do we still have? No, he's gone. Damn. In any case, we have someone wanting to come on stage. J Twist. Let's see if you want to come on stage. Hi. Hello.
Hey. I had a quick question. There was a price pump today with the cOHM. Any idea what caused that pump?
Jala, did you get to the bottom of it?
The CoinGecko thing? No, I don't know. It wasn't a pump. I think it was a misquote.
Yeah,
But oddly, yeah,
I know
like,
a little.
Arbiscan and Etherscan, like both were pulling from like the CoinGecko feed, oddly enough. But all our protocol partners, luckily, were using Chainlink feeds, and so like there was no like exploits on those, and it wasn't an actual issue. It was just like a reporting issue on CoinGecko.
Oh, okay.
The only one that looked weird was FDT Geom, but when you click through the link on the Sushi Swap analytics, it says 0 volume, like last trade like 8 hours ago or whatever. So I don't know how it came to be.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Let's see if there are any other questions. Are we close in Olympus Pro? What do you mean with that, CryptoVestor?
Permissionless Pro, I think.
I believe we are, bro. I'm not.
Yeah.
We don't Olympus Pro expert here.
I think it's an audit, right? Or like it's close to being done in audit. Okay. Sorry, someone is ironing behind me. Let's see. Questions. If you have them, please post them in the chat. If you want to come on stage, put up your hands.
We have a
If you
couple
want
hands. Yeah, we have a couple
a couple of hands. Two. Natty Boom. Come on stage, and then we have our old faithful Parks as well after that. Hi, Natty.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity for jumping on stage. I raised my hand because I was hoping to talk about a request for comment that I posted in the forum on the topic of diversifying a small portion of the treasury stablecoins into BHome. Created the Bacon protocol. BHome is essentially a stablecoin backed by U.S. mortgage liens, which meet the Fannie Freddie criteria, meaning have the highest, I'll say, lendee qualifications out there. And then also, if they meet Fannie Freddie requirements, the U.S. government will always buy up these. And solid.
Natty,
Breaking up,
you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if
Okay.
it's just for me. I can't hear. I heard like 50% of it. I'm not sure if others were able to. I heard about high quality Fannie and Freddie
Give me 1
rated
second.
backing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now? Take off
Yes.
my earpiece. Awesome. Sorry about that. So BHome, a stablecoin backed by U.S. mortgage loans, which meet the Fannie Freddie criteria. Fannie Freddie is the federal government. Essentially, if you meet those requirements, then they will always buy up those loans.
Yeah.
And the backing of a stablecoin from disappearing, but also because they meet the Fannie Freddie criteria, the loans are given only to individuals that are at the highest standard of loan giving, I'll say, for the residential market, credit score, um, you know, the down payment and so forth. And in addition to that, the stablecoin itself increases at the average APY of those loans. And Bacon Protocol has funded over 30 homes at this point, I believe. Their TVL is still relatively small at about, I think, $7.5 million. And as an OMI myself, just no direct relationship with the protocol, with Bacon Protocol, except for being an investor in the protocol, I thought that this stablecoin would help the treasury continuously grow. By way of those mortgage payments. And then in addition to that, when you do stake the BHome stablecoin in the Bacon protocol, you earn over time their governance token. And this has implications into the future because people with the Bacon token will be able to vote on creating new pools to fund loans under different criterias. And after 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks since posting it in the forum, there's about 26 total votes. It's a 50-50 split. And in commenting to the policy team yesterday, it was to kind of understand how best to continue the discussion, potentially get feedback to maybe repost the proposal with more graphs and charts to kind of show the economics and the value propositions behind BHome. So I wanted to step on stage and kind of bring that up real quickly. And I'm not sure how many of the 100 or so people on this call have seen that forum discussion, but I was hoping to talk to you guys about it.
No, that's definitely good to bring up. Maybe also. Okay. So Drew already linked it above.
I think the main
Yeah.
issue you will face now, I haven't seen the proposal actually. I think the main issue is right now we are in a pretty risk-averse mode. You know, so anything that is new or something like that will not get too much support, at least from what I've seen on the forum. Not talking about personal thoughts.
I would definitely encourage everyone here in this call to go to the forum, check it out for yourself, provide some comments as well. First of all, I see a lot of people are now checking it out in the latest viewers section. And then indeed, this is a good forum, but also pinging the policy team members. I think they're quite known here, who they are, to check it out as well, or like the people that are mostly doing the treasury stuff, to also ask if any adaptations need to be made and so on. But a good comment of Shadow is indeed that there's a bit of a risk-averse sentiment right now, but that doesn't mean that good proposals can't pass, of course. So, but then again, encourage everyone to check it out. Okay. Anything else to add, Natty? Or if not, I will pull our next person on stage. Porks. Welcome.
Good stuff. So mine's 2-in-1 questions, really. So obviously, I can see that you're doing a lot of product protocols within the community and releasing stuff each week. Obviously, I've been holding since maybe November last year when the prices were around about $1,100. I bought in around about that price. Obviously, we had the the price crash in January, and I'm still holding. So I think my main question is, with all of your partnerships and protocols you're releasing, is any of them intended to bring new investors to the project, or is it a case of it's a long-term play whereby that over time new investors will come, or are you still trying to gain confidence within the market? Because I think from what I've seen in other protocols and other projects, once confidence is lost, it's quite difficult to bring new investors, and new investors, from what I think, are the ones who can increase the price. Or is that not how /Olympus are thinking the strategy to obviously bring back confidence, or to get the price back to a certain level where investors can make some decent returns?
I think the best example is Bitcoin. Is it really true that once you lose confidence, you can never gain it back? I don't think that's the case. I think people lose confidence in, re-establish it all the time. If you survive, I think the odds are on your side.
Yeah. People will try to kill Ohm repeatedly, but hey, what is dead may never die? No, I'm joking, but like, I think we're really resilient, and we've got a lot going for us besides the price. Of course, our community is like one of the most important things to us, but they'll come back.
Yeah, I would add two things to that. I think I've said this a few times maybe on these calls, but surviving right through down markets was always something that the protocol was going to need to. It was always a test the protocol was going to need to pass, and I have no doubt that it will pass that. Right, like that is the point of accumulating the treasury. The treasury is there. It's not going anywhere except for the benefit of Ohm. And so as you grind through this, like it's the proof of concept for what Olympus was meant to be. And so if you lose confidence with a certain cohort, another cohort will recognize that. Secondly, I know we've had migrations with V1, V2, but I really view the next stage as like the V2 of Ohm, right? We're moving from that like bootstrapping phase where all we're focused on is growth, to now like this like moving into more of the stability phase with still a focus on like growing the network and growing the treasury, but this like V2. And so I think there's another opportunity there to nail that. And we have to like we're working really hard to do that, where you can like spin up a new narrative in a sense, right? About like this was Olympus following its plan, but now it's an evolution, and you know it's another you get another like shot at building like confidence again, like through that.
Yeah, I hear that.
Thank you for your question, Parks. Okay, and let's move on to my favorite character of off topic. Owner of Daytona, not to say. Okay, invited to speak. Here is Dr. Monk.
Yo,
Hello.
Monk.
GM.
what up, dude? You know, Shadow, Portal, you guys are legends. You know, get back to basics. Make Ohm great again. Let's do it. Let's make it a DeFi reserve currency. Let's focus on bonds. Let's focus on staking. And fuck all this expanding into other shit and other tokens and ancillary shit. Look at Frax, dude. They've got a huge market cap. FXS has a huge market cap with basically no product, no novelty whatsoever. Like we should be twice the size of Frax right now. So rather than expanding, let's get back to basics. Let's do it. You know, we got Kings here. We got Shadow, who's a legend. You know, Warto, you're a legend too. So let's do it. You guys got it.
I won't say anything negative about Frags, but the rest I 100% agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, indeed, and I think we've been doing that, right? So also maybe it's not that visible to everyone, but within the DAO, we also have really lately focused on bringing things back to the core, about which is being a reserve currency for DeFi, and not about all these other, indeed, projects that are nice to have, but not a need to have. We've seen this coming for quite a while now and are really taking action there. Also, the projects that we're funding now, you'll see more and more that it's all to do again around being a currency and not just around some fan projects or that sort of stuff. Although nice, not needed when you are basically going down and the price is under pressure. So we definitely see the need for that, and indeed, narrative-wise, we want to also bring the right message there, and for that to happen, we need to go back to what we started with, right? So indeed, the spirit that we had, I think a year ago at this time in May 2021, when we, for some people that weren't around, we also were trading at 1,400 and went down like 90% in May. That was a fun time as well, and we fought back. Just as now, we will fight back as well. So, and I know that Monk was also there back in the day, so we know what that's about.
Yes, sir. You know, I got faith. I'm all in. So let's do it.
Indeed. Thank you, man.
Peace.
Thanks, Monk, for saying we're legends and Jolly isn't.
Certified non-legend, you mean?
Yup.
Okay, invite to speak Spadoink. Welcome, sir. How are you doing? You're muted. Still muted, but
Is he
okay, so
server
we can
muted?
guess.
Yeah,
He's
that-
server
muted.
muted.
Hold on.
Yeah.
that's server.
Shit.
Shoot.
What did
What
you
did
do?
he do? Yeah.
What did you do, man? What did you say?
So you need to go into the voice channel and then we can unmute you. So
Are we back
if you
there?
join if you join Athenian Clubhouse, can you join? Can you try
There.
now?
Oh,
Yeah, I
here we
did it.
go. Sorry about that.
Hello, hello, hello.
I was probably saying I was talking to myself, but thanks for all the work you guys are doing. I know, being under pressure and doing this kind of stuff in this environment is not easy. When it feels like the world is falling apart. But I've been here since July. I'm sure you guys have seen me in the rooms. And, look, I've been in the crypto space since like 2012. I think Ohm is the greatest thing that I've seen since Bitcoin. It's just as complicated though, right? And I think that, the average folks who came in over the last year were very, pump and dump, degenny, not really understanding sort of the sort of brilliance of the model of what's being built here. And I think all of the OIPs that we've been voting on have really kind of moved the project forward in a place where, even if the price hasn't moved, theoretically the stability that should come, should be really profound as the rest of the year goes on. I also think that there's, and this is why I wanted to just like check myself. I've talked to a bunch of folks, including Indigo, and make sure that like I'm not thinking about this wrong. But this is one of the best asymmetric opportunities in the entire crypto space right now, especially given where the market is, right? Like, God forbid, everything goes to shit, and we decide, what, like the vision is not going to happen, which I don't think is the case. But like, let's just play that out. Like, you're talking about, today, given where the price is, like theoretically, like a 50% increase on current price if the treasury were to wind down, right? So that's your bottom risk. The asymmetric risk to the upside is massive. And I think, once we get to a point of stability, we should see larger, more sophisticated investors come in and understand that. But I do feel like that's something that we could be marketing a little bit more, and not like direct marketing, but I've noticed that the volume has turned down a lot, maybe because we're insular and we're building right now, which is totally fine. But I don't know how much of that comes across to the masses who, may just be looking for like a yield generating opportunity. But I think once you sort of see that, it's very hard to unsee it. And then it's really just a waiting game. So I don't know. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not sure if that's useful at this point in time, but it's been almost a year since I've been on stage, so figured I'd come on back.
I agree with everything. Not financial advice.
Ohm is a better Bitcoin.
Wait, why haven't you been on stage for a
Yeah.
year? Were
I've
you
been
muted the whole time?
He was muted. He was
I've been
Hey,
in the
goodness.
background,
No, definitely come on more often.
Spadoink is a G.
Okay. Good. That was very uplifting. It's nice to hear those things, to be honest.
It's a shitty time right now, but I mean, the stock market just dropped 1,200 points today, so it's just like, like in the grand scheme of things, Ohm actually held up slightly better today, right? But I mean, slightly. But it's if you really play out the long term, like I think maybe Shadow made this point or Potted made this point, right? It's like every inverse bond we sell, the people who stick around own a larger percentage of the share of that treasury, right? Osvi doing his like bank run scenario over a year ago. It's like it's actually playing out right now. It's like it's not a bank run, but it's a slow deleveraging of the folks who do not believe in the future vision of what's being built here. And it's like anyone who sticks around, like theoretically, should be rewarded handily, right?
You're putting Ohm in better hands, or rather, the ownership of the network in better hands.
Exactly. So thanks again for what you guys are doing. I know it's tough times, but I expect that we'll be in a different place by the end of the year.
Couldn't agree more there. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you, man.
Okay, we have one more person. Oh, another OG. And please tell us how to pronounce your name. Quercus? I hope that's right.
Yeah, that's Quercus.
Okay. Yeah. Hello.
I know we have lots of policy gigabrains on the stage, but this question is more broad and deep, and it is: obviously we're looking for stability. We're shaking out the people that don't believe in it. My question is, at what point should we be encouraging people to build on Ohm and get like the velocity increasing? Because obviously it's very difficult to build on it while it's not stable. But you obviously want to be ready when Ohm is reaching that stability phase, so we can start having Ohmies transacting in Ohm and getting that stuff going.
I love that question. Homer and I were talking about the same thing today. So I think I agree that like it's hard to try to like before Ohm is like, you know, in its relative stability phase, you're kind of trying to fit a square into a round peg, like with like building utility and like having people build on top of it. So I think the way I think about it is we really shouldn't be dedicating too many resources to that now. It's great if like third parties are starting to like brainstorm and like on how to do that, but I think we really start pushing that once we get into that phase. That's just my opinion in terms of like just staying focused.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think that's all
It's
I had.
okay if you don't. You can disagree with him.
I think that's all I had, besides one other thing, which was that pointing out that a lot of our OIPs in the past have kind of, you know, been pretty one-sided. There's only been a couple that are kind of split, and I was wondering if I know we're shaking out a lot of the people that don't really understand it or believe in it as much, but at what point do we really try to get our holders educated on all facets of like OIPs that come up and getting people to understand things and not just blindly vote with whatever someone else is?
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, it's a difficult issue to solve because some of these OIPs are inherently technical and difficult to understand, and also people don't like to read. So when there's like this forum post, I think our governance procedures are good, like a forum post, a vote, like proper discussion, and so on. But yeah, it also depends on the importance of certain vote, right? So for example, for most of the important ones, we always held these types of calls where everyone could listen in. These are also on Twitch when people can listen back to them. We have people here like Drew, RZ, and others ready, for example, that can really help out with answering questions in Discord as well. But we can't force feed people the information around these OIPs, right? We really try to do that as much as possible. And even then, on the point where people are not voting, or just voting what they see, they'll just see something and they vote yes, and it's very hard to change. I'm already happy that they take the time to vote. I think it's more an issue of getting people to vote, and of course vote with the right information, as opposed to the people that vote they vote just one way. That's my opinion
it's
there.
like it's actually like a main focus for Shreddy and myself is to really ramp up governance participation, and we believe the best way to do that is going to be through education initiatives. So we're sort of turning our sights inward instead of like outward marketing. We're going to be basically just scrapping marketing and focusing inwards, in working to educate. We got 122 people on the call. A lot of you want to learn more about like all of these different OIPs and how they work together. And that's going to be like a big push over the next quarter or two is to help educate everyone and have you feel more confident in what you're going to vote about.
I can't remember. Do we have vote delegation built in already, or is it not activated? Or
no, I don't believe so.
No. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks. That's all I've got.
Thank you very much. We have Memeplex. A lot of people want to come on stage today. Love to see that. Thank you for that. Hi, Memeplex. How are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Going well. What's your question, sir?
My question was around the range guides. I had a off-the-cuff proposal informally in Discord that I think only maybe Ja Law saw about kind of higher volatility market making with the ranges, and if there's opportunity to add to the treasury faster through higher volatility periods, possibly by lowering the liquidity intentionally and by taking a short side position on the upper range bound, and then that protecting against downside price action, and then also, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Capturing more market making arbitrage basically, and then also OHM acting as the primary benevolent whale, so to speak, with owning most of the liquidity. You wouldn't, and us being in a bear market, you wouldn't expect to have a lot of slippage on the upward range, I would assume. And then that position would be reinvested on the lower range in order to create the price support. And so basically, like, purposely creating higher volatility during this period of time instead of kind of like the slow trickle down through these ranges in order to try to capture higher revenue through market making.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the policy channel. I said we should come back to this. So there are people in the audience that, first of all, we did discuss like a lot of similar concepts actually yesterday. So like just know that it's being considered. I don't know if like Shadow or others right now are the like right people. I certainly am not the right person to talk about it, but there are people in the audience who know a lot more about like the model. And might like be better to talk to. So I don't know. We like would love to hear like your thoughts further on it, and try to find the right venue. Unless they want to pop up on stage and we want to get super technical.
Yeah, the very technical side, I'm also not probably the best person. There are people that can jump on, but I don't know whether we want to do it now.
Yeah, I mean, my proposal was more or less spitballing, so I don't think I have the answer to implementation, but it was basically just kind of creating a debt-fueled short position that is a tiny percentage of the liquidity being used for range-bound activity at the top side of the range. So basically taking debt at the top side of the range, either literally swapping that into stables or making that a net short position through some other means, and then selling into that upper range with the protocol liquidity so that price action would drop with the lower range bound being the target. And then as the lower range bound is approached, then the protocol would exit that short position and then either put that in the treasury or reinvest it into supporting the lower range bound. And then ideally there would be more fee capture during those volatility moments. And I think it's kind of like signal theory where you're going to overshoot your target, but then you're going to basically oscillate between, two levels and kind of a sinusoidal wave over and over until you kind of dampen back to the price target. So best case scenario, you would have like an upward range strategy if you could successfully pull X amount of money into the treasury and could kind of create a flywheel. Then you would have like a step function over time. So you'd say, okay, we're going to go into a high volatility fee capture moment, and this is the strategy to do that. In between these two ranges, we're going to potentially overshoot by buybacks, and then reverse, the market making strategy at the upward bound. As we capture that fee, we reinvest in the floor support, potentially trigger more buybacks at a lower degree for a bounce. So then you kind of go in this little sinusoidal pattern. But then after that experiment is over, you assess like what was the impermanent loss and what was the fee capture during that period of time. What was the percent of liquidity and movement that needed to make the price move X percent, those kinds of things. Look at the metrics. And then if it was successful, then you could see doing that again to a higher price level, and you could have kind of like a slow, potentially upward bound price action mechanism that would also provide more additional money to the treasury.
Yeah, I think a lot of these elements like actually like are captured in the model, but I would just think like I would hope that maybe we should like after this like hop into the policy channel and like go over a lot of this stuff async. Um, it's yeah I'm a little bit out of my depth on like the current state of the model like myself, so I'm definitely not the right person to discuss it in depth. But I like I appreciate those thoughts a lot, and I know that like again like not everything, but a lot of those elements like are captured or at least considered.
Yeah, basically just trying to increase the volatility, and then just adding a short position which benefits from the downside, because the protocol can more or less infinitely sell, and there's not enough buying pressure right now. Like if someone wanted to take, don't fight the Fed, right? In this case, OM is the Fed. There's not enough buying pressure right now for anyone to buy, against the Treasury enough to have massive slippage, is what it appears to me. So I wouldn't see that there'd be a big issue in implementing that. I think it would just be what, does the policy team have the desire to do that experiment because of other potential risks. But yeah, I'd be interested in talking about it more in the policy channel.
Hit me up, dude. I've been trying to do this for a while too. I've been talking about a lot about this actually inside policy. Exactly what you're talking about. So me and Blue can speak with you. I'd love to
Okay,
explore.
cool. Just sent you a friend request.
Okay, Meanplex, you succeeded in bringing Indigo to the stage. I saw you here earlier, sir, but you moved away. So, Indigo, could you give us like a little bit of a dev update, just in general, like what are you guys working on? What's in the pipeline there, or what's on your mind? Like very brief. You don't need to go into detail.
Where do I start? Have you guys heard of Bofides?
Yeah, it's been floated by Jala earlier today in this call.
I heard Jala ask what is both of these.
You should tell him. Bofides is the ancient Greek hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bofides is our core systems rewrite. We kind of like went back and reevaluated how the entire system works to be able to be more modular, and then also prepare ourselves for on-chain governance. A lot of this started because we were trying to add some capabilities, for example, like cross-chain and governance and all these other things. And we realized there's a lot of like coupling between the parts. So we're like, okay, let's separate everything. And now we can kind of rewrite this to be like more modular, and now we can start adding things a lot easier. And actually the goal later is once governance is activated, we'll be able to like take in proposals as smart contracts, and the proposals will actually just hook into the rest of the system if governance agrees. So it's like you have this like very modular system that's able to expand very easily just based on just whatever governance wants, and the interfacing between all these parts is like very easy. So that's why I'm kind of excited to get this thing out. We have most of the core systems done, and then we also have like 90% of the guidance system written out. It's just we're pretty much just like testing it out, and then yeah, the next step after that we just need to get it audited, and then we'll start working on the governance. Some other things we're looking at on top of this is like more automation. So with the range model, you now have this kind of like semi-stable system that like can kind of adapt. It's like gentle pegging, as they say. And later we can actually add in more algorithmic systems to where now this kind of becomes like an algorithmic Fed, which is kind of interesting. Like no one's really done this, so yeah, that's where my mind's at.
Okay. Sounds exciting. Great to hear.
Yeah, I'm fucking bullish. It's sad that what state we're in right now, but like I actually really am positive for our future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think again, like these community calls are interesting to me because I see now 120 people again, which might not seem like a lot in our high days, but it's amazing to see in a day that we go down 10% and then the market is crashing. And we have 120 people. We have the guy coming up here with like a big brain proposal. We have a lot of engagement here on stage as well. A lot of people wanting to ask questions. Continuing, like we have more on the table now than we ever had, and even when we were trading at 4 billion, right? So it's great to see, and it's definitely also encouraging for us to keep on building, right? Okay. With that positive end note, I think we're also close to the end here, to the hour. So if no one wants to come on stage anymore, nope. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. Also, the chat was lively again. I want to thank the people that came on stage, either to ask questions or to answer the questions. Yeah, as said, we continue building. What is that may never die, and if there's something that will never die at Olympus, and we have with our big fat treasury, right? And with both of these. So, yeah, I hope to see you again next time, and have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Thank you all, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for attending.
Haha, Shreddy, it's our call again.
Haha, we did it. Yes, thank God. Poop kite, poop kite, poop kite.
Thank you everyone for attending, and thanks for bearing with us through that Discord reorg yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of good feedback, and thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Adios.